Hey, today I'll be talking about episodes 29 through 31 of YanXi Palace. The Empress Dowager hosts a family dinner. The Empress is now a few weeks along, but she isn't feeling too well. Still, she decides to attend, not wanting to slight the Empress Dowager. This turned out to be a mistake. The servant drops a plate of congealed blood, which for some reason is neon red, and the food attracts a swarm of bats straight out of a horror movie. Seriously, were they on smoke break in the other room just waiting for their cue? The bats make everyone freak out, and in the chaos, one of the servants even dies. This is the kind of thing we try to avoid by having fire drills, but I guess bat drills aren't a thing. Chun is terrified. Mingyu gets separated from the Empress, and Xian is focused on protecting the Empress Dowager. So the Empress is completely unprotected when Gao makes her attack. By the time the guards get to her, it's too late. She's already lost the child. She's unconscious, but the Emperor is staying right by her side, not willing to eat or sleep until she wakes up. Mingyu can't stop blaming herself, and honestly, no, I shouldn't say that. It's not her fault. Yingluo wouldn't have let this happen. Okay, I said it. Mingyu runs off to the labor department to tell Yingluo what happened. Yingluo questions her and finds out that Gao was the person to report the Empress's fall, but she's using her injury as an excuse, saying she hurt herself trying to stop the Empress from falling. Yingluo drags Mingyu back to the palace, but while she seemed like she wanted to help at first, once they arrive, she changes her tune. She says, loudly enough for everyone to hear, that the Empress kicked her out of the palace already. This is no longer any of her business. She leaves with all the maids thinking she's turned her back on Changchun Palace, but Fu Heng chases after her. She keeps up the facade, saying that the Empress is responsible for all of her misfortune. And I say facade because we're not buying this, right? I don't believe this for a moment. Fu Heng begs her to just go and see the Empress, but Yingluo is completely indifferent. Finally, it looks like she's managed to convince even him that any love she had for the Empress is now gone. The Empress remains unconscious for days. Unable to do anything else for her, Fu Heng begins an investigation into the bats. He finds out that the servant who died that day just happens to be the very same maid who spilled the blood dish that attracted the bats, covering up loose ends. Meanwhile, Yingluo finally escapes potty duty and is assigned to deliver milk. Just her luck, guess who her first customer is? By the way, is Gao using this milk for her bath? You had better be putting some cereal in there afterwards or something. That is just wasteful. Now that she isn't protected by the Empress, Gao, of course, can't pass up the opportunity to finally get her revenge on Yingluo. Luckily for Yingluo, the Emperor arrives before she can stab out her eyes. Gao plays up her own injuries to distract from what she was doing to Yingluo, but he does notice her injuries. He goes out after her and finds her hidden behind some bushes, crying in the rain. He has nothing nice to say to her, claiming to hate women who act pitiful when it suits them. But as he's leaving, he still angrily tosses his umbrella at her. When he returns there later, he finds that she didn't take it. Yingluo ends up getting very sick, but luckily dear Yuan is there to take care of her. Though it does kind of crack me up that they just stuck her in the stockroom. With the Empress still unconscious, Xian and Gao are left in charge of most of her duties. The Empress Dowager was already very impressed with how put together Xian was during the bat attack, but what really surprises her is how well she steps up to the task of running the harem. Xian, as we know, is very intelligent, and she's done a lot of studying in preparation for an opportunity like this. She has a lot of ideas on how to save and make money for the palace without inconveniencing too many people, but she also knows when to show generosity. Due to a flood, a section of the country is struggling with food insecurity. A lot of these people have come into the capital as refugees. She decides to assign some palace servants to go out and serve porridge, free of charge. Thanks to her years of actual kind-heartedness, though she's faking now to gain favor, no one has any reason to doubt her, except Gao. Damn, I love that quote. HongZhou is back to full-ish health and decides to go and keep vigil at his mom's tomb for 3 years. Rather than commend him for being such a loving son, the Emperor is disappointed by him yet again. Loving your mom is well and good, but going to stay vigil for 3 years instead of doing your duty as a prince? Plain and simple, this is cowardice masquerading as filial piety.
若为了避开政治斗争，就将满腹的志向和抱负藏于荒唐行径，将来你有脸面去见皇考吗？你又有脸面去面对大清的列祖列宗吗？
That is some hard-hitting truth. He makes it clear that he knows HongZhou has been exaggerating his weakness and weirdness to keep himself safe, but at what point does it end? HongZhou is shaken as he leaves the emperor and runs right into Xian. Xian knows someone at rock bottom when she sees him and decides to ask if he would like to join her porridge drive.
王爷想办正经事，让世人刮目相看，地安门赈灾便是第一步。
你怎么知道？
王爷的心事全写在脸上了。
She could not have found him at a better time. He is just begging for a new mother figure in his life to tell him what to do, and here she is. The servants leave to serve porridge, but Yingluo is too sick to participate, and Jinxiu stays behind, clearly not having learned her lesson about staying out of Yingluo's business. She spies Yingluo leaving her sickbed, heading somewhere in a hurry. At the porridge drive, things are not going as well as Xian hoped. There is food aplenty, but as can be expected from starving people, they are not very patient. A particularly aggressive group arrives, intent on cutting in line and getting served right away. The guards aren't able to restrain them, and they immediately start to complain about the quality of the food. The general sentiment starts to shift from gratefulness to disappointment to anger. And then things turn violent.
马上就会有新的粮食来，好吗？
Is it me or does Eunuch Wu have like 16 different jobs? What is he even doing here? Some men storm the platform intent on harming consort Shen, and Yuan steps up. With an impressive show of brutality, he kills one of the men in front of everyone. Before everyone can totally freak out, he yells out that this man is a fake. A real refugee would be wearing grass shoes or at least shoes tattered from travel, but look at these guys' shoes. They're clearly just here to start trouble. The rebellious group doesn't look like they're going to back down, but before any more blood can be shed, HongZhou shows up with some backup guards. Yuan very easily points out all the instigators, and both Shen and HongZhou are very impressed with him. They get rid of all the fake refugees, and with that, calm is restored. The hooligans, though, did dump a lot of the food, and since it looks like there won't be enough, Shen has to think on her feet. She announces that the children and elderly will be fed for free, but the rest will have to work for their meal. She asks those who are willing to do some menial labor to stay and eat. Quite a few people leave, but Shen is satisfied that the ones remaining must be the ones that really need it. She then gives the food to the remaining people, no work required. She also promotes Yuan and puts him in charge of the workhouse, replacing the supervisor who weirdly disappeared and then never showed up for work again. He's not getting any references. Yuan! I'm so proud of him. This is literally a Yingluo main character moment, and I love that for him. Though I'm a little nervous as this is maybe setting us up for a rift between the two. I so desperately want these two to stay friends. They're so sweet together. Those scenes of him taking care of her, to die for. And also, he understands her so well.
你为什么要故意激怒高贵妃?
She did volunteer to go, so was all of that on purpose to get the Emperor's attention then? Which I guess means the Emperor cares? Or is this for the Empress? No, right? He definitely just wants her? Ugh, I don't want these two. I want Fu Heng and Yingluo! While this man is giving out useless umbrellas that she can't even use for fear of beheading, Fu Heng is working night and day to find out what happened to the Empress. The Emperor makes Yingluo's supervisors keep her down, while Fu Heng is breaking his code of ethics to bribe her supervisors not to be too hard on her. Yingluo rejects the Emperor and he has a massive tantrum and storms off. When Fu Heng is rejected, he just says, I get it, don't worry, just let me know when you're ready. Now I want to be really clear about this. I'm not trying to say, well, Fu Heng's nice and the Emperor is mean, so Yingluo should be with Fu Heng. I promise you, when it comes to media, I can root for the most complicated, messy, toxic couples. But there's a key component missing here. She does not want him. Where's the fun in watching a character I love being railroaded into a relationship that she doesn't want? Why would I want that for my girl? Okay, HongZhou. So interesting. I love that conversation between him and the Emperor, especially the Emperor saying that him being this afraid means that he sees the Emperor as a tyrant ruler who would kill his own brother. And I appreciate the sentiment, but hundreds of years of history, including your own father and brothers, have proven that yes, family means very little when it comes to the throne. HongZhou isn't crazy for thinking you'd do the same. But all of this is just working out so perfectly for Shen. I mean, look at those eyes. He is done for. He's so emotionally vulnerable right now, and it was the perfect moment for Shen to come in and make him hers. And I get it. Shen is cool as hell. Not to mention, she treats him like a capable adult and he gets to feel a sense of pride working for her, something I'm sure he's not used to at all. His power and her brains make a dangerous combination. At this point, Gao should be shaking in her shoes. Carefully though, those things are dangerous. Till next time, thanks for watching.